Good day, everyone. Welcome again to another edition of Fayette Focus. Harry Wright with you. Today, my guest, I have David Siegel. How are you, young man?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
And I've got David's mom, Karen. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Wonderful. David, tell us a little bit about the organization that we're going to talk about today.
Sure. Loud Life, loudlife.org. It is a nonprofit organization, 501c3, located in Gahanna, Ohio. Our mission is to inspire and empower those affected by addiction. I'm a person in long-term recovery, and I just saw that there was a huge epidemic on our hands. I got tired of burying my friends to this disease, and we decided we wanted to do something about it.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we're having a big struggle right here in Fayette County with the opioid addiction, and we've got the Faith and Recovery Group, which I think in the 20-some years that we've been battling this addiction in this county, I think this is the best group of people that we have ever put together, the most wide group of people. We have clergy, we have elected officials, we have just general people from the public whose families are involved. It's hard to find a family in Fayette County that's not touched by this epidemic, and you, sir, have fought the battle and are still fighting the battle. Tell everybody out there about your struggles.
Yeah, so I started using when I was 12 years old. I was raised in a good home, 2 parents in the household, suburban area. It never thought it would happen to us, and that's just the reality of the situation. It's not that person with the long hair under the bridge anymore. It's the prom king, it's the high school jock, it's the doctor, it's whoever, and it's affected many people. And my main source of usage was opioids. So I was prescribed lots of medication at a time when I hurt my back, and I abused it, and it took me down a path that I never thought that I would get out of.
We think about the effect that it has on the person who is addicted, but that's just a small effect that this addiction has. The families themselves go through what can only be really described as a living hell.
Yes, that is correct. It does affect the families. It took me a long time to really realize that David was in addiction. He was really good at concealing it, covering it up, and things just progressed, and it's just a tough thing for any parent to deal with. That's why I'm very supportive of his organization. I'm here to talk to other parents and give them support and know that there's hope.
There are parents out there right now that have somebody that's in an addictive situation, and I think a lot of time is the frustration comes from they just don't know what to do.
No, they don't. That's why we're here. David has such a wonderful website with resources. He's here to help those and inspire them and to encourage them to reach out and to know their options. There's a lot of different types of resources out there. It's not a one size fits all. So certainly it's something that we can talk with them and find out what is going to be best suited for them and their family.
I'm glad that you mentioned a not one size fits all, because that's what we're finding out in this coalition to the Faith and Recovery is there are so many different people who are addicted, which means there are so many different situations and you need so many different solutions.
Yes, there are. And there's a lot of different types of solutions, and you've got to be very selective. And that's what David is, proudly talks about is the types of resources that we have that are quality, that are, good resources, people that you can trust and know that you're going to be in good hands.
Well, David, let's get to some of those resources. What are they?
Sure. So basically what in a normal situation, over the past 3 to 4 years, we've helped over 400 people get into long-term sustained recovery. And the resources that we give them is, first off, we need to understand what they're going through as a family, because it's not just an individual disease, it's a family members, like the whole family is affected by it. So we get to the source of what they're using, why they're using the first place, and then we find the right treatment center for them. We think that treatment is the best option for them to get out of their environment, for them to get back into their way of life. They can start to understand who they are again and kind of just be reborn in that sense. So from there, then we help the family members also. There's aftercare programs. We have NAAA meetings that we have them go to. But basically, it really starts off with the treatment centers to get them into.
I'm glad you mentioned the environment, because that's something that we're finding out as well, too. I mean, you take the personality environment, you get them rehabbed, you get them treated, but when they go back to that same environment, it seems like the same habits come back.
Yeah, that's a big problem, and that's the reason why, a lot of people will relapse or go back into their old ways, is because they hang out with the people, places, and things. They go to the places that they weren't supposed to. Again, they're not following the programs and stuff, and that's why we kind of get together with them and say, okay, we're going to make a game plan, teamwork. And once we get them into treatment, after that, we do aftercare for them. So we get them to meetings. We make sure that they're staying on top of everything, rebuild their lives. That's rebuilding their credit. That's rebuilding their family life. If they're getting a job and stuff like that, staying focused on the right course. And sometimes it's best that they get out of their environment and not go back into their environment right away, so that they can know who they are and not be tempted by the people, places, and things.
I think a lot of the people out there have the misnomer that you take them to rehab, you treat them, and as soon as they get out, they're good. When the rehab people say, okay, you can go back out in society, you're good, but that's not the case, because where do you go?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is that I want people to understand that addiction is it's in the brain. It's a, it's used as a disease as well. It's focused like that. And what happens is that people get lost and think, okay, now that I got into rehab, I'm perfectly fine. This is an ongoing endeavor for me specifically. I know that I'm an addict throughout my whole life. And, if it's not drugs, it's going to be something else. I have an obsessive compulsive disorder with things. And that's what a lot of addicts have, is that we just over compartmentalize. We think way too much. When we love something, we go deep into it. So that's really what it comes down to. It's not just drugs and alcohol. It's a disease of addiction in all ways, shapes, and forms.
Now, when you found out that your son was addicted, I mean, the parents out there right now are thinking, well, what do I do?
That's a good question, because we didn't know what to do. But today there are a lot more resources. Back then we were struggling to find, who to go to, who to talk to, and but now there's definitely a lot more resources, to connect with. And I just tell parents to reach out to David. He has such a great compassion for this. He will, lead them to the right path and the right, person or company to talk to, and that's very important.
David, how do people get a hold of you if they need your services?
Yeah, so basically the best way to go about it is go to loudlife.org, loudlife.org. And our board members are here to help as well on all different aspects. We want people to know that we do recover. I think a lot of the media shows that, there's so many overdoses that happens and stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is that people do recover. We do get clean, and we can beat this together. And like I said, we've helped over 400 people get into long-term sustained recovery. We've gone to over 1,000 different schools. We've spoken to over 100,000 different students, because we want to show and educate and prevent this from ever happening to other families again. And also, just to mention that we have we have a nonprofit fundraiser that's coming up May 23rd of this month, or the month that's coming up. It's going to be at Villa Milano. It's going to be a wonderful opportunity for people to see hope and a message that we do recover, and that they're going to see some success stories as well.
Where's Villa Milano located at?
Yeah, it's in Westerville. It's at Westerville, Ohio. It's off of Schrock Road, and it's a wonderful place. And we're going to have a great night of food, entertainment, and 7 different success stories are going to be there as well to show.
So it's a good way that if you maybe know someone who is going through this addiction, or someone that might be needing help, it might be a good way to go to check this out.
That's right. Yeah, you can get your tickets online. You can go to our website and buy a ticket if you'd like. You can contact us straight from there. My cell phone number is on there as well. I'm on my phone 24/7. If people need to call me and stuff, I'm there for them. I've gone to the places and picked up people to get them into treatment. I answer our phone 24/7. So just know that there is hope, there is help, and we're here for you.
All right, my guests today on Fayette Focus, David and Karen Siegel. We've talked about Loud Life, and if you know someone that is addicted and has a problem with addiction and is struggling, get a hold of David, and David can get them on the path. David, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to visit with us.
Well, thank you for having us.